Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. So, I hope you guys are enjoying these notary documents. Let's get into it. So, today we're going to be discussing a Florida roommate agreement. Now, this one, it says Florida, so it's for Florida. But what I will say is that every state has these agreements. You would just have to go on eForms, because that's where I got this from. So you would go on eForms and put in the name of your state. You would click on it, and it would come up with a roommate agreement for that state. So, and it pretty much would be the same as this. It just would say, instead of Florida, it would say whatever your state is, okay? Now, what I will say is, I've never had to do these until maybe the last 6-7 months. I have done several of these, to say the least. And honestly, I think it just has something to do with the amount of rent and mortgages going up so high that people have to live together. So let's go ahead and get into this, okay? Now, in the very beginning, you're going to go ahead and get everybody's identification, whether it's a driver's license, a state identification card, or passport. You're going to go ahead and verify everything to make sure the names on here match what's on their identification. And then this entire thing, they should fill out. So whether they have taken the time out to print this stuff out like this, or if they handwrite it, because this is on eForms. It's completely free to print it out, so they can do it either way. They're going to take care of this part. You, as the notary, are going to notarize once they sign. But sometimes they have questions, and they look to the professional to be able to give a little guidance. So you can pretty much let them know what you think goes where. So that's why it's good to always look over the documents so you'll be familiar with them. So they won't ask you something and you're just looking like a deer caught in the headlights. Okay? So right here in the beginning, this is going to be the date. And this is the date that this document is going to be signed. Okay? Here, this is for the actual roommates. This is going to be the people that are moving into this dwelling. Now, it can be 2 people. It could be 4 people. It just depends on how many rooms it is. And then you're going to go ahead and list the actual landlord here, because there's a place for the landlord to sign also. So does the landlord have to be present in order to sign? No. If not, you can just put NA here, and where the person would sign at the bottom, you would just put NA and draw a line through it. So then you'll come down here, because what you're notarizing is not really the content of this agreement, but you're really notarizing that the person that signed this document showed you their identification and they proved that they are them. And that's what you're really notarizing. So you'll come down here, and this is the information about the place that they're going to be living at. So it's the address, the amount of rooms, bathroom, the common areas, the private areas. So however it's made up is what's going to be listed here. And then you'll come down further, and this is basically the term, how long this is going to be in place. So most leases are a year, but sometimes they do month to month. Sometimes it's 6 months. So it just depends on what they come up with. And remember, they're going to be the ones that's filling this out, okay? So this will be the start date and the end date right here. And then they're going to select one or the other, not both. And then you'll come down a little further, and this is going to be for the actual rent. So this is going to be for each person that's listed on here, what they're responsible for. And so this would dictate whether it's every month, every week, or anything other. Maybe it's every other month, or whatever they come up with. They can check here and handwrite it there. Or if it's something different altogether, it can go right there. So this is good. It gives you lots of options. You'll go ahead and come down, and this is how payment will be accepted. So if it's cash, money order, check, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, whatever it is, it'll be listed here, however they want to do it. But here it's just money order and check. You'll come down here, And this is the late fee. If the rent is not paid by a certain day, then that would go here. Or if they decided the landlord doesn't want to charge any late fees, they would check here. And I've never heard of that before, but I guess it can happen. So this would be the amount of the late fee, and this would be the stipulations of when it would be paid, how much, all of that. So you'll come down a little further, and this is going to be for the security deposit. So whatever they have come up with, so if they're not doing it, they would just check here. Or if they are doing it, they would check here and then put exactly what it is that the security deposit for each person is going to be. And then it's basically just saying after they move out, when they're going to get their security deposit back. So this is just specifying putting a date or an amount of days on the money. And then you'll come down a little further. And then it'll say basically if it's going to be a shared room or if they're going to have their own rooms. Today, this is 2023. So this very well could be for like 2 men or 2 women or whatever it is. And they want to draw this up to make sure that everybody's responsible. But they could very well share like a 1-bedroom or something like that. So ultimately, whatever they prefer is going to be selected, and you'll just go with that. And this is basically just when it's going to start, the move-in date, when they're going to move in. And if they're going to move in early, the amount. So all of that. And once again, this is all going to be filled out by them, not you. Okay? Keep going. And then here, this is going to be for the house rules. So whatever rules they have that they're coming up with can go here. So, and if it's something other than what's listed here, you can select other and they will write it there. Or if they have like a whole page or this isn't enough room, they could select here as other and put see attached page. And then on that attached page, each one of them can initial showing that they both agree to it and they see it. Okay. And then you'll come down a little further. And it's basically just saying, when is the first payment going to be due? So if it's going to be due when this is signed, the first day they move in, whatever it is. Now, when it comes to the cleaning, they get to just select whether they're going to hire a cleaner, which is very unlikely, but you never know. Or they're going to clean for themselves. So they'll select that. And then this is for a monthly reserve, which means like for household supplies, if each person is going to put up like a certain amount of money for tissue, soap, paper towels, whatever it is for the house. So, and if they decide that that's what they want to do, they're going to go ahead and put that amount there. Or if none, they'll select here and just say, no, we're not going to do it. We're just going to buy things as it goes. And then here, this is for the utilities. So this is the bills, basically saying outside of the rent, if they're going to share the cost of the bill or if one person is going to pay it. So this, once again, is all up to them. So this is water, electricity, garbage, whatever. And if something doesn't apply, they literally can just push NA, put NA, and be done with it. Or if it's something that's not listed, you have options. You can go ahead and select other and write it in. And then you'll come down here. And if there's anything else that they want to add that's not on here, it can be added right here, which is nice. It gives you some options. And then here, this basically is just saying that this agreement is governed by the laws of the state that this is signed in. So this is Florida. So it's governed by the state of Florida laws. And then down here is where the signature page is going to be. So each roommate in front of you will sign this. You will look at their identification, make sure it matches. And you see it says if applicable. So that means if this person is there, this is optional. That person, which is the landlord, can sign and date. If they're not there, NA, but this still can be signed. This still can be notarized because these two people are agreeing upon this agreement, okay? and you'll come down. So as you see, there is no notarial language on this document, and we are not putting our stamp on anything that does not have notarial language. Correct? Correct. So we're going to put our acknowledgement stamp here. So if you don't have your acknowledgement stamp, you will put, if you have a jurat stamp, you can put that there. Or if you don't have any stamp that has notarial language, you'll use a loose leaf document. So you will fill that out and attach it to here. But hopefully you have one of these stamps because they're necessary. It just makes everything so much easier. So then you would fill it out. So it'll be state, county, the date, and you as a notary would sign here. And you would put your commission expiration date. And remember, if you forget it, you can always look on top of your stamp, and that's where your expiration date will be. And then once everything is done, you'll go ahead and stamp it, and then this document would be complete. Now, could there be different variations of this type of document? Yes. But this is kind of the gist of it, okay? This is the free version. So if somebody calls you and asks you, hey, do you know where I can find this document? You can tell them, hey, I've seen it on eForms. You can go ahead and send them there and they can print this out. Or they can pay you an administrative fee and you can print it out. But either way, you'll go ahead and you'll notarize it. And you'll give it to them and they can make copies. And I normally would just advise them to email it to themselves just so that if it gets lost, they'll have another copy. So this is the end of this document. And I want you to just keep looking for more documents. And if you have anything that you're getting calls for and I haven't covered it, go ahead and list it down below. And I'll do my best to go ahead and get that document up with the video, okay? Thank you so very much. And you guys